We've covered the South End Brunch Club plenty of times on the show, going to the brunches as well as the coverage of Mel King's legacy. Tell us about the originator of the club, Mel King. Who was he, and why do you still gather in his honor?
Well, Mel King was an icon in the community. I grew up knowing Mel King as not only my neighbor, but also a mentor. He was a leader. My parents protested with him for the home that I live in right now. And so I was lucky enough to grow up under his tutelage. But in addition to being an activist and organizer, he was also a politician. He was an educator. He was an artist. He was a creative.
He was a poet.
He was so many things.
Yes.
So he was also affectionately known as a gentle giant as well. But he was somebody that the community could really, really rely on and go to when they needed something.
He had like so much wisdom for so many faceted areas, like love and information and education. He just poured all of that into you.
He
Yes.
also fostered a village type of outline, so understanding what your assignment was. So that was another piece. You know, there's one thing for somebody to hand you something, but it's quite another for them to show you how to do it so that you can do it on your own, and not only for yourself, but also to share with others.
Original idea of gathering the community together to have a brunch where people can talk about things that are happening in their communities was sort of not a novel idea at the time, but you guys sort of did it different. Tell me about the experience of the brunch, what sort of sets it apart from other community gatherings like this, and what can brunchers sort of expect when they arrive?
Right, so to understand why we're doing what we do, it's important to know what Mel did, right? And so what he historically did was he had a brunch every Sunday where he would open his doors to the community, and through and over food and conversation, he would bring the community together.
Yes.
And so the beauty of these brunches was that you never knew who you were going to meet. So a lot of times you could have anybody, you know, who was homeless or a politician or someone from another country, and then there would be a topic of conversation. And the beauty of it was you had that sense of community. And through these brunches, he was able to identify where the gaps were, and then because of the resources and the network and the relationships that he had, he was able to create solutions, not only for people, but communities.
Yes.
So that's the back piece. What we're doing, we've added some nuances. First, we started with the integrity piece, right? Getting the approval from the King family,
Yes.
right? And then, you know, we've incorporated the piece where we're gathering over food. And then we're providing information, education, the community vibe, and then we've also incorporated healing. Do you want to speak to the healing piece?
Yeah, tell us a little bit about the healing part of the brunches.
So the healing component of it is, first of all, healing is to love yourself.
Yeah.
So I think most importantly, once we heal from within, because it begins within, then we can have a better understanding of where we're going. And I think the community, a lot of us suffer in silence, and we don't know how to rise above the trauma. We don't know how to detox our bodies and rid of parasites, knowing that it fogs the brain, knowing that, you know, it causes gut issues, knowing that, you know, the more you detox, the more you go inward, and the more nutrients you feed your body and your cells, the better clarity you have, full circle. So I think a lot of that was poured into the brunch because it stems from love. Love is the question, love is the answer, and love is key. And then, you know, collaborating that with the community. Once the community sees that and feels that, then they will also begin to heal within. Yes.
We also incorporated the Mel King Leadership Award. And so we highlight and we amplify and we create a platform. Actually, the brunch is really around the celebration of whomever the people are that have done amazing things within the community. So our past recipients were Carrie Mays and Aziza Robinson Goodnight.
Yes.
And what an experience. And, you know, these are people that are so selfless and they've spent their life, and these are young people, you know, putting the community before themselves. themselves.
Young legends.
Sometimes to their own
Yes.
detriment. It really requires a level of selflessness.
Right.
And so it's something that, it's not in a title, it's something that has to be in you. And so the other connective piece to this is that everyone who's received these awards has a relationship or had a relationship with Mel King and continues that legacy piece.
What is the blueprint? What was this sort of master idea that Mel passed down to you guys and to everybody that he
The
sort
brunch,
of mentored?
number one, gathering. When you gather and you break bread over food, good food, you know, your guards are down, your spirit is sound, and you're able to just engage and transfer and take in other people's energies. You know, it's about growing together and the love. Yeah.
Right? And it's that village mentality.
Totally.
Yes.
So it's the unification. It's the having a space that is safe. It's the coming through the door, not knowing who you'll see, but know that you'll be in a space where you will be embraced, you will be engaged, you will learn something, and you will leave feeling as though you've had fellowship. And you know, after our last brunch, and actually all of our brunches, people have come to us and said, "Listen, I love the way that I feel. I want to feel like this all the time. When is the next brunch?"
Yes.
You know, we don't glorify this. We really feel as though this is our assignment.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, we're sharing the blueprint. The beauty is the blueprint. It's not Edwin, Heather, Bless, it's the blueprint.
Yes.
We are, you know, we're just the vessels, right?
Yeah.
And so this is, you know, this is the beauty of
The
community.
spirit works through us.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. And
Yes.
so what is a village? A village is community. We look out for one another. You know, and so that's the most beautiful piece of it all.
And we come from an organic place.
Yeah.
It's not like ego or puffed up or, you know, backbiting or, you know,
No.
whatever it is. It's like, and if we have things that we need to resolve, we come together like family,
Right.
actually.
And
Yes.
it's leadership from a space that doesn't include ego.
Right.
Yes.
So this is putting others before ourselves. And it's also modeling behavior that actually represents integrity.
Right.
That represents caring for somebody without receiving something in return.
Yeah.
And so, and I think society has come so far from it that that's what makes this concept so far-fetched to believe, because who thinks of others?
Yes.
You're not getting paid for it? Well,
Yes.
then why would you do that? And then the other piece too is a lot of this, it comes out of our pocket.
Yes.
And what doesn't come out of our pocket is contributed. For example, the food is contributed by the community, community restaurants who've
Yes.
partnered with us because they had a relationship or a connection with Mel King. And so it's just the thought, the idea of Mel King brings out this visceral feeling of, oh yes, I want to
Serving.
give back. Yes,
Serving.
serving.
Yes.
Yes.
Serving. Yes.
Yes.
A
Yes.
person like that who's had such a influence, a domino effect throughout the communities of Boston, the many communities of
Yes.
Boston, not just Roxbury, Dorchester, all over the place.
Yes.
And that influence can literally inspire people to do things that they wouldn't want to initially maybe do. Or
For instance,
feel-
growing up, I remember, like, he inspired me to become a poet and a songwriter.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that alone, and I was always afraid of, like, my voice. And then when I found my voice, you know, I'm on a national level as a poet. So that allowed me to not only share my voice, but show others that they too have a voice.
And then the other piece too is nothing's performative about this. It's
Right.
just really
Organic.
Yes.
organic.
Yeah.
Again, this isn't anything that anybody else couldn't have done. It's just, it felt like now is the time.
And not to mention, me, you, and Edwin came from reparations together. I think that journey we did in Selma was like shape shifting and
Yes.
taking us
It was
to
transformative.
It was. It brought us here.
So we led a group of about 40 students from an Africana study program from UMass to Selma
It
to
was
cross the
amazing.
bridge at the Edmund Pettus Bridge. So that had to do with the whole civil rights piece, with voting.
It was heavy.
We were in Montgomery, and we just really traveled to different
Boots on the
locations down
ground.
south, and we were really able to see how mass enslavement really transferred into mass incarceration.
Right.
Experienced some super phenomenons during that journey. When
Oh,
you
really?
say
Yes.
we went to the
me about
Birmingham jail.
Yes.
We felt energy in there.
Yeah,
Yes.
I've heard that location.
Oh,
They left it
man,
open.
was wild.
They left it open,
Ooh, I
and
got
you can
chills.
see the artifacts are all there. People's belongings are still there.
It was
and what the
wild.
one thing that I really noticed that really made my heart feel heavy
What?
was that on every block there was a bail bondsman.
Yes.
Mass incarceration.
Yes.
Wow. It's a business.
Yes.
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 Totally.
It was
They
wild. I
put
felt
more
like we
money.
were like back in slavery time.
Yes.
Wow.
They put more money into the prisons than they do the education
They
system.
do that today.
Yes.
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 We know that this happens today, and that's
Yes.
why, these conversations at the brunch club are so important.
So we've really, in this journey of reparations, been able to identify the areas of harm, identify where all the gaps are, and through the Mel King Brunch and through the South End Brunch Club, we have the opportunity to provide solutions because we have all of these relationships.
Right.
Yes.
And we've already had the difficult conversations with people about reparations. That's a difficult conversation to have with people.
It is. It is.
Yes,
It's
and
very-
then to be able to, so that's the space where we really have to level set expectations with behavior, but also giving people the grace and empathy to understand that there's a lot of pain. So bringing everything that we've experienced there into this space, it's really effortless, and it's really a joy and a privilege.
One of Mel's biggest sentiments was listening to everybody at the table. Like you were saying, you could have a houseless person, you could have a politician, you could have a community leader,
Yes.
all sitting at the same table having the same conversation.
Yes.
The sentiment of listening to everyone's opinion with respect and acknowledging our differences was so huge for Mel. How do you guys replicate that in the brunch?
So we encourage communication and networking. So there's always an announcement when people are welcomed in. Everybody's greeted at the door. Nobody's wandering around. Everybody knows that they're welcome when they come through the door. So we make sure that those details are in place. We do that anyways because it's our personality, but we make sure everyone feels welcome. And then there's an announcement for people to talk to your neighbor, have a conversation,
Yes.
right? And then as the program is going, we lead them through the entire program, but we also have we have prompts all around the room where, what does community organizing look like? So there are a lot of conversation pieces
Right.
that are around the room for people to talk about.
Yeah.
Whether it's, the historic art that's in black and white intentionally, we kind of give the vibe of like art galleries. So there's so many things for people to talk about, so many topics, right?
Right.
Yes.
And we also talk to the crowd about what it looks like to have engaging conversations, how you can engage politicians. So we're really starting to break into different topics that apply to the community so that we can start these conversations about, getting what you want as a constituent.
So
Yes.
we have entertainment.
Yeah.
We
Tell me
have
a little
poets
bit about
come, and singers come from the community, and people have a chance. Like we do lift every voice.
We start every meeting with the Negro National Anthem,
Which
lift
is
every voice and
amazing.
sing.
We have
a cappella.
the drummer,
Yes.
the African drummer. He's
Yes.
so amazing in the community. He comes and he drums and kind of like opens up the room for the ancestors to kind of come in, and it's just so impactful. I'll perform, or we'll have an artist come in and perform, giving them a chance to also be artistic and creative in the community on this platform.
So this
Yes.
isn't a situation where we're talking to people. There's that engagement piece. So
Yes.
we open it up. Do people have announcements? So for the last brunch that we had, it was healing. So we had a motivational speaker there, mathematics. He is a counselor for reentry and recovery. Conscious Science. Is that
Yes,
it? Yes, we had
Conscious
Conscious
Science.
Science.
Yes, she's
she did a
amazing.
wonderful poem about motherhood.
Yes.
It had me in tears, from the people who donate the food to the people who we're sharing the platform with.
Yes.
Community, from the community, for the community. And who knows, some of the people who are sitting in this room could rise to political spaces. And for
Yes.
example, the last brunch we had, Julia Mejia was there, handing a resolution to Aziza Robinson Goodnight, who was the recipient of the last award. Julia thanked Aziza for keeping her honest and being her accountability partner. You really have to be there. And I think part of this reaction from the community is a result of the inaction coming from the lack of resources.
For sure.
Yes.
Absolutely.
In the way that society is now, and it doesn't have to be that way. And so when you realize, nobody's coming to save us, and not only that somebody's coming to save us from a victim space, but a responsibility of why don't we be the change we want to see?
Yeah.
Yes.
Not only for ourselves, but making sure that we're not only breaking cycles, but we're planting seeds for the harvest that we know that we're not going to reap, right? But it goes back to the transatlantic slave trade.
Yes.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
you know,
That's where it stems
reminding
from.
people in the room that guess what? You know, you're here, and yes, you have the opportunity to live in Boston, and that's great. But did you know that you're your ancestors' wildest dream come true? And do you know the responsibility that goes with that? And do you know what the backslide that you're creating when you don't go vote?
Who else is going to talk about this? Who else is going to bring this up and speak the truth on these things?
That are happening on a systemic level that are contributing to it, and all the while people are making, you know, creating laws over cognac and cigars, the people are the collateral damage. And so, you know, we're caught in these algorithms, and you know, we're in spreadsheets, but they don't know the stories in between.
Right.
So it's important for us to continue to mobilize
Absolutely.
and educate one another and
Have conversations.
Yes, have
Yes.
conversations and
Yes.
share the blueprint. And the blueprint really is nothing more than being a good person. People like nice
Yes.
people.
Yeah. Tell us if you guys have anything exciting coming up. I heard you have
A
something
lot of
coming up
juicy things.
this weekend. Tell us about what's happening this weekend.
A empowerment brunch with a group of young women, young artist women.
Yes.
The name of the group is Bars. I
Bars
believe,
Empowerment?
by with Bayhala.
Yes.
Having these women this weekend is also going to be humbling.
They're femc. So for anybody who doesn't know what femcs are, they're female rappers. And so these women range in ages from 19 to I think some of them are 40.
Wow.
But the biggest piece about these women is what they've survived. They are some of our, what I like to say, some of our most marginalized, right? They've been, some of them have dealt with incarceration,
Homelessness, abuse.
homelessness, domestic violence, survivors, true survivors who have been left behind, you know, literally collateral damage to, you know, the system. Two is we also have Mel B, who is a nationally award-winning motivational speaker whose story is unbelievable. She survived unbelievable odds to, you know, be here right now. We also have mathematics who's going to be there to talk about reentry
And his story.
and recovery.
Absolutely.
And so
Yes.
he's also going to walk them through what it looks like to transfer negative rap to positive rap. So again, this is what community looks like.
Totally.
So we have that piece that's happening the 15th. Then on the 22nd, we are doing a turkey
So
feast.
excited for that.
Yes, we're doing 100 turkeys.
Yes.
We're giving away baskets.
Yes.
And then in December, we are going to be doing our December brunch.
Oh, fun.
Mel King
Yes.
brunch. And that's going to be recognizing a day of Kwanzaa.
Fun.
And,
Awesome.
and so, you know, we're not doing a November brunch, but in lieu of the brunch, we're doing the turkey giveaway.
Perfect.
With the radio station, Urban Heat.
Urban Heat is collaborating with us from iHeartRadio.
Yes.
Thank you both for joining us
Thanks
today.
for having us.
Thank you so
and
much.
having
Yes.
this incredibly important conversation about
Yes.
healing and about community.
And thank you for what you do to amplify the community.
Of course, absolutely. It's my
Yes.
pleasure.